Okay, the story I'm about to tell is a great story to tell your kids, teach them about morality and how they can use a very spiritual, ethical way, righteous way to deal with a situation that we all have to deal with. This is the story of Lili. Now, Lili was a young woman, and she was just recently married. And in their culture, when you get married, you go live with the husband and his family. So Lili is living with her husband and his mother, her mother-in-law. And her mother-in-law is not a nice lady. Very, very critical of Lili. She's always belittling her. She's always insulting her. She's always scolding her. And she even goes to her friends and tells them what a horrible daughter-in-law she has. Well, after about 6 months, Lili can't take it anymore of all this berating. So she runs back home to her home village and she goes to talk to her father's friend, Dr. Hong. And she tells Dr. Hong exactly what happens. She tells her how her mother-in-law is so mean and how she scolds her, berates her, talks down on her, tells her friends that she has a horrible daughter-in-law. She tells them, I can't take it anymore. I want to get some poison to kill her. Can you help me? And Dr. Hong first is very silent, looking very concerned. And then he tells her, give me a second. And he goes back in the back, and then he comes back out with a package. And he tells her, now, you must listen to me very carefully, and you must do exactly everything that I tell you so that we don't arouse suspicion. And we'll get in trouble, and they'll surely kill us for this murder. And Lili tells him, oh yes, I will do exactly everything that you tell me. And he says, okay. Now first, what I have here is this herb. And what you do is you treat your mother-in-law's meat every other day with this herb. Now this is a toxin that will build up in her system and kill her. And we can't give her a whole bunch at once because she'll die and then people will be suspicious. So we'll give her a little bit at a time and this will build up in her system and eventually she'll die over 3 months. And then he says, second, now while this is going on, you must be nice to her. I mean, you must be the nicest person ever. No matter how mean she is to you, you must always be kind, gentle, and nice and compassionate. Always. That way when she dies, nobody will suspect that it's foul play. So Lili says, oh, of course I'll do this. And she is so excited. And she grabs her package and she runs back home and she does exactly what Dr. Hong tells her. Every other day she treats her mother-in-law's meat with this herb. And every day she is as kind as she can be. Her mother-in-law is mean. It doesn't matter. She's always kind. She's always caring. She's always helpful. Well, after about a month, Lili starts to see a change in her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law is starting to not be so mean. And after 2 months, she realized her mother-in-law is starting to give her compliments. And starting to be real caring and kind to her. And almost never mean. And then after 3 months, what happens is she is so kind to her that the mother-in-law is always kind back. And the mother-in-law is even now telling her friends what a great and wonderful daughter-in-law she has. So Lili is now conflicted because now she realizes that she's starting to love her mother-in-law and care for her. And she gets scared because she's going to die. She panics and she runs back to Dr. Hong. And she goes to him and she says, Dr. Hong, I've done something terrible. Now that I've been so nice to my mother-in-law, she is so caring and so kind to me. She is so helpful, and she's even told her friends of what a wonderful daughter-in-law she has. I want something to stop. I don't want her to die. Please give me something to stop the poison. And Dr. Hong just burst out in a big laugh. And he says, don't worry, the herb that I gave to her was to improve her health. The only poison was the one in your mind. So that's the story of Lili. She goes home and everything is happily ever after. So thank you and enjoy.